Namaste. A very good afternoon to everyone in the UK, and good morning, sorry, and good afternoon to those joining from Kathmandu, Nepal. Please allow me to quickly introduce myself. My name is Irina karki, and I currently reside in Kathmandu, which is the capital of Nepal. Professionally, I have some hospitality management experience from back in the UK, and for the past good few years, I have been into public affairs, communications, and sustainability, well known as CSR slash ESG in the private sector. Currently, I have been working as an independent consultant, advising the development sector on bridging gaps and tapping the private sector CSR funds in Nepal. And very humbled to have had the opportunity of working for the Nepali Army led, I would say, one of the world's biggest mountain cleanup efforts as a consultant, particularly in strengthening campaign communications and on partnership management as well. My association with the campaign began in 2019. So basically, from the time of campaign inception, when I was working for a company in the private sector, and there I led the effort to be one of the first corporate partners to join hands for the great cause. At a personal level, my experience of working with the respected military in 2019 and 2021 was quite a few things. Their discipline, hard work, dedication, honesty, the expertise within the institution, transparency, all great things of the highly esteemed Nepali Army for such a big cause. That all for me really meant I wanted to be associated with the campaign on the long run. And here I am, and shall always be an ambassador of the campaign. Um, Today, also quite conscious of time, I'm going to very briefly share on why the campaign, tell you about the campaign, in short, the simple modality of it, the campaign achievements from the time of inception, and finally, share a little about the communication side of the campaign as well. Again, due to limited time, I'm going to give you some snapshots, really quick snapshots of everything I just mentioned. And we may have a few minutes at the end for Q&A, which I'll try to save some time at the end. So if there are any queries or any questions, you can actually share with me then. Okay, so talking about the Himalayas, the mountains, they're the national treasure of Nepal. In the Indian subcontinent, the Himalayas have been worshipped and recognized by a lot of cultures and civilizations. However, these Himalayas, these mountains, have been quite busy. And there is debris, waste left behind by mountaineers, climbers, visitors, which just needs to be managed and cleaned. And there's obviously work being done to prevent from waste increasing in the mountains, but cleaning what's accumulated over the years and what piles up with time is imperative. So, very swiftly, moving on to the need for mountain cleanup. Firstly, there is waste up in the mountains, non-degradable waste. There are human feces, dead human bodies. All of this needs to be managed, cleaned. Secondly, and very importantly, these mountains are considered the source of fresh drinking water for close to 2 billion people living downstream in the region. Water from the Himalayas are also a medium of economic growth and prosperity in the region, source of clean energy and irrigation for agriculture as well. So it's not just pristine. These Himalayas are not just good to look at. But we actually depend on these mountains, these Himalayas, particularly for water, which is a shared resource, as we all know. The other thing I wanted to highlight is there are no recycling facilities in the mountains. As we may understand, it's thousands of meters high up from sea level, and a difficult terrain to set up and manage such facilities. So, all of these factors are causing intense pressure on the fragile mountain ecosystem, which leads to degradation of natural resources and even the biodiversity. Here, I wanted to give you a glance of the types of waste that are there in the mountains. There are degradable waste, but there are different types of non degradable waste too, including different types of packaging, materials, and equipment used by climbers, like ropes, cylinders, clothes, shoes, prayer flags from religious rituals, and so on. These non-degradable waste needs to be appropriately managed in terms of segregation, and it also needs to reach the right recycling facilities. Hence, the requirement for the campaign, one of the largest joint collaboration in Nepal to clean up these mountains. Um, a disclaimer, I am a small part of this massive integrated effort that is only possible with the lead taken by the exceptional Nepali Army and with joint collaboration of government agencies, different mountaineering bodies, associations, civil society, the private sector, and most importantly, the local mountain communities. It's an inclusive campaign modality that involves and supports the livelihoods of the local communities and complements their efforts and sentiments. Important to understand about all the work done on this campaign for so many things, from preparation, different processes, psychological and emotional risks, rescue efforts that takes place during the expedition, and planning acclimatization before the cleanup expedition starts, and the monetary investments, obviously huge investments as well. So many factors to consider. Hence, this kind of joint collaboration is extremely critical to achieve the efforts. It's an important cause that has garnered commitment from all sectors, as you can see. I would say the continued joint effort year on year is in itself a testament to the success of the campaign. Okay, so very briefly, I wanted to share the campaign operating model. This campaign is an expeditionary model with well defined objectives under the leadership of the Nepali Army involving local Sherpa supporters. And this is done for ground operations, collection of waste, delivery of waste to the nearest road and airheads. And I have to mention that there's minimal use of aviation. As mentioned earlier, it's a joint effort with multi stakeholder involvement. And I shouldn't miss to mention that while the primary goal of this campaign is to collect waste from the high Himalayas, it also creates job opportunities and positively impacts the local economy. Okay, very simple terms, sharing with you the primary objectives of the campaign. I'm going to literally read it out. Restore the Himalayas to the natural condition, generate awareness on sustainable tourism and mountaineering, support the tourism industry, assist growth of mountain economy, reduce the impact of climate change, and preserve the Himalayas for future generations. Okay, so sharing with you all a glimpse of the achievements from back in 2019. In 2019, 11 tons of waste was collected from Mount Everest, and it was recycled. 2020, 2020 was wiped out, like for everything else in the world with the start of the pandemic. But 2021, even through the second wave of the pandemic, the team actually braved it, and with many other challenges, including two big typhoons, still managed to collect and recycle 27.6 tons of waste from 6 different mountains, including Mount Everest. And this year, 33.8 tons of waste was collected from 4 mountains: Mount Everest, Mount Lhotse, Mount Kanchenjunga, and Mount Manaslu. Again, braving many challenges, including extreme weather conditions. What we need to note is while the preparation starts from months prior to the actual cleanup, when the expedition team leave for the cleanup, which is from the first week of April, and it all ends on June 5th, which is World Environment Day, and that's when the campaign culmination event takes place. Quickly touching base on campaign communication, which has been an area of focus to raise awareness on the importance of restoring and maintaining the sanctity of our Himalayas. This year, the call for action has been Our Mountains, Our Responsibility. The key communication is simple and to the point as well. Mountain waste requires the attention it deserves. As I mentioned earlier, mountain environment, mountain environment degradation affects close to 2 million people living downstream. It's to raise awareness amongst future mountaineers, visitors, and general public. And finally, the fact that this is not an ad hoc activity, but a long-term endeavor to keep the mountains clean. And this is what has been, and this is the kind of communication that has been disseminated. The campaign was covered by most of the leading national medias from the time of commencement to culmination, and also connected with youth, just different kinds of engagements with the travel and tourism students. And the campaign director himself actually was involved in doing that. Social media platforms, both Facebook and Instagram, were activated. So please feel free to follow for this year's updates. It's called Mountain Cleanup Campaign. And I believe in the years to come and years ahead, there will be international interest on the campaign for a wider reach. So that's all I wanted to share for today, where I just try to capture the essence of the campaign and provide a summary of a mammoth task. Happy to have been able to share about the mountain cleanup campaign, which I'm confident will remain ongoing with innovative and sustainable solutions on the long run under the leadership of the Nepali Army. I would like to thank the South Asian Heritage Month team for having me. We might have a few minutes for any questions or comments there may be. I'll pause and open the floor for that for a minute or so. If there aren't any questions or comments for me to respond to, then we will end the session. So opening the floor for questions or comments. I actually see a question already from Ms. Susmita Karki. How can Nepalese living in the UK be involved? Firstly, Susmita ji, thank you so much for your question. Well done, and thank you for already being a part of the campaign by just joining this session today, because it already shows that you have interest in ensuring that the mountains are kept clean, and you understand the importance of the mountains in our lives. for all of you in the UK, I would be more than happy to be a point of contact for you for the next campaign, which will be in 2024. So this year's campaign, as I mentioned earlier, it concluded in June, first week of June. And next year's campaign, the preparation starts in the next few months anyway for next year. So from around October, November, that's when the planning starts. So if you have anything in mind, my contact details are up in the screen. And if I can have your contact details as well, we can connect and we can definitely find a way for you to be a part of the campaign, the next campaign as well. I hope I've answered your question. There is a little comment from Music Therapy. This is amazing. Thank you so, so much for all this, Nepal. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. And I'll convey the message to the campaign lead and the campaign coordinators and the campaign team, basically. Okay. There is another comment from Scottistani. In Pakistan, there is a criminal neglect on part of the government, selling mountains to land grabbers for building farmhouses and restaurants. What can we do to stop this? Okay, so I mean, this seems like a very heavy question. So um, we can definitely, if there's anything from Nepal that I can share with you in terms of our experience here, just working with the mountains, um, more than happy to share with you if that will be of any help. Again, my contact details are there. Please feel free to get in touch with me directly. Thank you. And Prashant says, amazing, Irina, a great project. Thank you so much, Prashant. Thank you for all the encouragement and support. Means a lot. I don't think we have any more questions or comments. Okay, so for those of you that may join the session later on and may just click on the link to listen to me talk about the campaign, please feel free to reach out for any queries you may have. And so for today, okay, there's another comment from Scottistani. Thanks. Will be good to learn from Nepal. Thanks. Definitely. Thank you. It'd be a pleasure. And yes, so I will be signing off now and wish you all a great weekend and take care. Signing off. Thank you. Namaste.